Time now for a ride on a motorcycle that was first introduced to the world press back in 1985, Yamaha's legendary Vmax. Back then, folks couldn't believe Yamaha had built a street bike for public consumption that looked so drag strip oriented. But it had, and once folks had a chance to sample its highly addictive, sorry officer, was I going that fast? Straight line acceleration, the Max developed a legion of devoted followers. Rumors have been circulating recently that Yamaha is preparing to launch a new Vmax for the next millennium, which prompted us to take a closer look at the current generation V. At the heart of this two-wheeled fun factory is a liquid-cooled 1,198cc dual overhead cam 4-valve V4 that incorporates what Yamaha calls its V-Boost system, a hot-rodded carburetor setup that allows two carbs to feed fuel into one cylinder once the tach hits 6,000 RPM. The resulting hit is pretty impressive. So what's it like to spend some extended time in the company of Mr. Max? Well, this week we invited Scott Magnish of the Toronto Sun and Rob Harris of CMG Online to sample the V-Man, and here's what they had to say after their Big Max attack.
I think it would be a good motorcycle for somebody who really likes that, maybe is into the boulevard cruising scene. You know, they want the power, they want the name. Certainly, there's a lot of people in the world who would know the name Vmax and know it means power. And just having that on the side of your motorcycle, I think, is kind of a status symbol, maybe. And it can deliver on the goods, no question about it. It's got an awful lot of get up and go. The V4 engine is Yamaha have had, well, they've had a decade to work the bugs out of it, and it's bugless. This motor's, I think, pretty much bulletproof, and it'll run almost forever. So, you know, if you're looking for a Sunday cruising bike, you want to maybe tear up some back roads after a coffee with your friends, this certainly is one of the bikes to be thinking about. It's got a lot of power.
Mm-hmm. It's built from an era when weight wasn't really an issue as well. I mean, the whole engine, I don't know how much that weighs, but they're not trying to save any weight with it, which is kind of its charm as well. It feels big, it feels muscly. I don't know why I should say this, but if you hit a car, I think you'd probably go through it. It's one of those kind of bikes. It's just, but it has the power to go with it as well. I think it is what it looks like. You know, it looks mean, it looks powerful, and that's what it is. A lot of bikes you get now, I think a good example would be the Marauder and the Magna. The Magna's not bad, but they go for that kind of look, but they don't quite deliver on the look, whereas this does. It's got a really distinctive sound to it, and it delivers the power low down, and then interestingly around 6,000-7,000 RPM it just kicks, which is not what you expect from a motor that pulls from so low down. It screams like an inline 4. It's almost switches, it plods along like a torquey V4 low down, and then it hits at 6 and it suddenly says, okay, I'm an inline 4, and it just moves. It's addictive. It goes right up into the red as well, right up 10, 11,000 before you know it, and it keeps pulling.
And when you hit that 7,000, you got to be holding on.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like somebody put something in your fuel.
Yeah.
It goes. They've upgraded the brakes from previous years. You got the 4-piston calipers on the front. I think they've improved on the discs as well. But it's not enough. It's a heavy motorcycle, and it's an awfully powerful motorcycle too. I think they could have stood to go with maybe 6-piston calipers, something like that. I mean, it stops the motorcycle, but I think if you're riding really aggressively, you might be looking for just a little bit more.
The only thing is, of course, you're upright, so on the highway you're getting all the wind blast. Maybe a screen like the Bandit would help, but I'm not sure whether that would detract from the mean looks. I found it very comfortable. From the driver's point of view, I've had a passenger on the back, and they didn't like that seat too much. Plus, I think with a passenger on something like this, you need a big grab rail.
Yes, yes. That grab rail is barely a hand.
It works for me. You've got the speedometer is the main thing that you see, so you know how fast you're going and what kind of ticket you're going to get. The tach it's neat, but you don't really look at it until all of a sudden the revs start to cut out when you've gone past the red line. So that could be a little more helpful, but it looks neat there. It's like any bike, when you start putting instruments down on the tank, They're out of your view. You've got to specifically look down at them to be able to see what you're doing with them. So that is not the most useful, but it looks mean, and maybe that's what the Vmax is, more looks than absolute function, but it does the job. You can see how fast it is. I've never ridden it until now. This is the first time, and I love it. I'm falling into that muscle bike mode, like the Bandits and the ZRX, and I like this. This is, it's just a bit too torquey almost, slow down. It'll spin the wheel too easy, but I like that. Not great for the highway, you've got no wind protection at all, so, but apart from that, around the twisty back roads, it's great. I just love that power.